Hello everybody and welcome to another video. In today's video I'm going to be showing you how to use Zoho Invoice. This is a great powerful invoicing tool that you can use in your finance departments, and yeah, I'll get straight to it. So to predominantly access Zoho, the first thing you're going to want to do is actually go to zoho.com. Now I've skipped the tough part, I've made an account already, and I'll show you how to find ZohoInvoices. So this is actually going to be part of a series of Zoho videos, so you can see we'll have a bunch of tutorials on a few of the other softwares available. So to find ZohoInvoices, you're first going to go to zoho.com, and you're going to go to products. Because it's invoicing, it's in finance, you're going to want to go to finance, obviously, and then head over to Zoho Invoicing. Now, if you already have an account, it will take you straight into it, and it will say, here you go, access Zoho Invoice. So we're going to do that. Now, just a note, to do all of this, I have a link in the description, so you can access Zoho immediately. So I'd recommend, if you plan on setting up Zoho Invoice or any other Zoho products, definitely check out the link below. So first thing I'll do is I'll onboard us as an organization. So I'll just do this as a test one. We can do random industry, organization. We are in London. Oh, you see United Kingdom. London. And how much are you managing? Obviously, or how are you managing invoicing? I guess this is optional. And we'll get started. If you are a business that's registered for VAT, you can put your VAT number below. That's a UK specific issue though. So yeah, we'll get started. You can also add, I guess, your organization's address. These will all show up on the invoices. So while this loads, I personally actually do use Zoho for my business. It's a great tool. It's very intuitive. And yeah, so here we go. So it's very intuitive, so you can have a look over here. On the first page, you're going to be able to customize your invoices. So you can see the template over here on the right. If you'd like your invoice to look like this, you can. If you'd like it to look more like a spreadsheet, you can. This one they call continental, and this one they call compact. So it just rearranges the look of the invoice. It's really up to you. I'd recommend, if you have a lot of products, you could probably go with the spreadsheet option, just because it will format it a bit nicer. Now, if you have an organization logo, you can upload it, but I won't do that today. And if you upload an organization logo, it will literally just replace this in the corner. What we can do is we can change the colors now. I don't necessarily want a red invoice, but just so you can see, I will make the background slightly red. You can change the font color and whatnot, and we'll save and proceed. Now, the next thing, which is important, is any additional modules that you may want to use. So as it mentions here, you can change these anytime. Now, additional modules are relatively simple. It just depends on what the invoice is for. So you can put a payment link in the invoice. You can link it to a timesheet. So if it's an employee, you can link it to a quote if you're providing a quote for a service. You can even have recurring invoices. So just for my sake, I'm going to enable all of these because businesses may want to do credit notes or anything. And these will be modules that you can use to create your invoices, as each invoice will be slightly different, obviously depending on what it's for. So we'll start invoicing. We're good to go. And yeah, it's very simple. From there on out, you can actually then, I will let this load, start creating invoices. Now, you may prefer to actually create some customers because business is no fun without people. So one of the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new customer. Now, I'd recommend doing this prior to creating an invoice, because then you can immediately attribute it to an existing customer. And then also, if you're going to do repeat business with this person or business, you'll be able to attach this to the invoice anytime. So I'm just going to create this as an individual primary contact salutation. So obviously this is whether they're a Mr. or a Mrs. or a doctor. We're going to call it Dr. Test. Very realistic name. customer name to display, and here's the option. We'll call it Dr. Test Test. Because I've set my region to the UK, the currency is the British pound sterling. Now the email is important because this can be where the invoice is sent. So I'm going to do test@test.com. And yeah, as you can probably see here, nothing is actually required. So you can choose however much you want to put aside from customer name to display. So, and you can obviously add loads of other fields. You can even add custom fields. However, you'll need to do that in settings. So yeah, I'll save this. So Dr. Test Test. And what we can do is, so you'll notice on the side here, I enabled some of those modules earlier. You might remember payment links, payments received, recurring invoices, and credit notes. All of these modules are going to now show up on the side. You can disable or enable these in settings, however you like. Just today, we're going to use the invoices module. And yeah, so let's go straight to invoices tab on the side. Now, you have a few options. You can create an immediate invoice or a recurring invoice. Now, a recurring invoice, obviously, if you have a client paying you, say, $60 a month or $600 a month, however much, this recurring invoice will be sent to them periodically. If it's just a one-time invoice for maybe some goods or services, you're just gonna create a new invoice, and this can be changed later on. So don't worry too much about it. So here we go. Remember we created a customer earlier. We're going to use Dr. Test Test. Now, if you want, you can just create a customer whenever you're creating the invoice, but I like to make it earlier. Billing address and shipping address. So remember, I didn't add that in the customer's details. However, if you were to have added the customers or the business, because remember, either of them can be a customer. If you were to have added that in the customers section over here, their business address or billing address and shipping address will show up, but I didn't. In this top menu, you can change the naming convention of the invoice. You may want to obfuscate it. It's up to you. I'm just going to keep it invoice 001, and maybe I'll call it order number 6262 or 6226, whatever. The invoice date will be today of me making this video, which is the 4th. And you can set a due date or anything. You can set date and receipt. It's up to you. If you have a salesperson or someone issuing the invoice, they want to be specifically named on the invoice, you can add that. It is optional. You'll notice that the only required things are highlighted here in red. Other than that, it's not required. So yeah, the subject, again, not required, but we'll add this. We'll say invoice for goods. Item details, again, I'm just going to call this test item. Yeah, so you'll see this is roughly what your invoice is going to look like. Now, obviously, you can change the quantities here. So if you have multiple items, I'm going to put 10 test items, and test item will cost, let's say, per is $10 per. You can see the amount will immediately adjust to 100. So this confused me when I first started. Rate is actually going to be the price per of the quantity, if that makes sense. I maybe would prefer if they just called it product price, but I guess this depends on what the invoice is for. Now you can adjust, you can show additional information, you can add a project here, but projects will need to be added prior in the home section. And you can hide all additional information. It is up to you. You can add new rows. So if there's multiple products, we'll call it test item 2. There's only one quantity of this one, but this one is 2,000. There you go. And then you'll see right at the bottom over here, it's adapted, so it's going to show me the total. And I can add other things such as shipping charges or adjustment charges. I can even add a 10% discount. And it will highlight what the discount is, and I can even add a little thanks for your business. Look, it's actually pre-added there, so this will be displayed on the invoice. Now, if there's any files you'd like to add to the invoice, you can upload. Terms and conditions, this is important. We can paste, this is a test T and C. There you go. And then I can use this in future. So this terms and conditions will be default on the rest of my invoices. Now, the invoice that I'm going to create here will just be a simple PDF invoice. Now, if you'd like to actually allow clients to pay you through the invoice, all you need to do is go to set up a payment gateway. Now, I'm not going to set up a payment gateway in this video because it requires some personal details. However, it's very intuitive. You'll click on this link to set up the payment gateway, and the next time around, when you're on the invoicing section itself, it will give you the option to actually allow for people to pay online with this invoice directly from the email. That's if you email them the invoice. So yeah, finally, I'm going to save and print. This invoice has been created, and here we go. This is my invoice. This is my business name over here. This is my email. This is the total. You can see the discount we set. And when I click print, oh no, I don't have any printers. If I click print, I can click download. It's going to save it. I can save a PDF, and yeah, that is that. So thank you very much for watching. This is a very, very simple method of making an invoice using Zoho. It's so quickly. You saw me do it from start to finish with explanations in under 10 minutes. And yeah, thank you very much. Now remember, if you would like to do this yourself, I have a link in the description that will help you create a Zoho account immediately. I recommend going through that link over just doing it on Google because it's specialized to what I'm teaching in this lesson. And yeah, thank you very much. Have a nice day. And that's everything for now.